forget the sight of Jackie Robinson tearing for the plate on his daring steal.
The integration of Major League Baseball was a diplomatic event between players, fans, coaches, and general managers, in which players of all races were allowed in the MLB. Although initially the integration was not well received, once the players stepped on the field and brought new levels of skill to the game, acceptance grew. This integration of all races not only changed the game of baseball, it was also a major motion in the civil rights movement. Defenders of segregation had long said that whites and blacks would make each other uncomfortable on the sports field, but by the late 1930s, sports had already started integrating. Some examples of this are in 1936, Jesse Owens won 4 gold medals at the Summer Olympics, and in 1937, Joe Louis became boxing's heavyweight champion of the world, which means that he would be regularly competing against white boxers. Later, African-American celebrity Paul Robeson and members of the black press fought for the integration of baseball at the owners' winter meetings, putting pressure on baseball to open up. In 1945, New York City Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia establishes a committee to push the Yankees, Giants, and Dodgers to sign black players. In 1946, the Brooklyn Dodgers signed Jackie Robinson. Robinson spent that year on their minor league team, the Montreal Royals. That day at Roosevelt Stadium in Jersey City, the Jersey City Giants would face the Montreal Royals. In the Royals lineup would be the rookie Jackie Robinson. When he stepped up to the plate for his first at-bat, he became the first black player in the history of organized baseball. Although he grounded out his first at-bat, his second at-bat he hit a 3-run homer. The Royals won the game with a score of 14. Some reasons Branch Rickey pursued Jackie Robinson were he had a college education from UCLA, but more importantly, he didn't have a reputation for drinking, which is something that many people knew Jackie Robinson's competitors did, such as Satchel Paige. Branch Rickey knew Robinson was very talented, but he also knew that he would face abuse and insults when he reached the majors. So he knew he would need someone talented but disciplined, so he could face the hate. Jackie Robinson also had a wife named Rachel who supported him. Some facts about Branch Rickey are he was the general manager of the Dodgers for 5 years, and not only was he a pioneer of baseball, but he was someone who saw the stupidity of segregation. Segregation completely went against the American ideals of freedom and justice, and didn't make much sense after defeating Nazi Germany and its racist ideas. Also, Rickey saw clearly that the Dodgers could win with the best Negro League talent. The Dodgers became a dominant force in the MLB with black stars like Jackie Robinson, Roy Campanella, and Don Newcombe. In 1947, Bill Veeck, the general manager of the Cleveland Indians, had similar ideas to Branch Rickey and wanted to sign talented players from the Negro Leagues. He went on to sign Larry Doby. Then in 1948, they signed Satchel Paige. They went on to win the World Series. And in 1954, they set an American League record for the most games won in a single season with 110 games won. In 1947, teams like the Dodgers and Indians were quick to integrate, but other teams like the Red Sox and Phillies did not integrate immediately. Unsurprisingly, the teams that did not integrate did not benefit from their decisions. 10 years after Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier, nearly 10% of the MLB roster was African American. Major League Baseball coaches also started signing Latin players such as Roberto Clemente. Roberto Clemente was born August 18, 1934, and died December 31, 1972. Clemente was one of the first Latin American professional baseball players. He played his first game April 1, 1955, and played his entire career with the Pittsburgh Pirates for 18 seasons. He won the Gold Glove every single season he played. He also hit for a lifetime average of .317. Unfortunately, Clemente was mocked by the media for his accent. The media also tried to call him Bob or Bobby. Even many of his baseball cards used Bob. Roberto was an advocate for equitable treatment. One of his greatest quotes is, "My greatest stat comes from helping to erase the old opinion about Latinos and blacks." Sadly, Roberto died in a plane crash on the way to Nicaragua with food and supplies. The integration of baseball was not a positive thing for some people. There were not only people that didn't like players of all races playing in the MLB because they were against segregation, but the downfall of the Negro Leagues was bad for the owners and coaches of the Negro Leagues because they had built a league of their own and learned how to earn money off of it. Other negative reactions of the integration of baseball were Jackie Robinson being abused and treated unfairly. Some examples of this are people sending him death threats, fans, players, and coaches treating him unfairly, and hotel owners not letting the Dodgers stay at their hotel because they had a black player. The integration of baseball opened doors for many Hall of Famers and great players to join the MLB. Some great players that Jackie Robinson opened doors for are Willie Mays, who is one of the best center fielders of all time for the Giants and Mets. Another great outfielder is Hank Aaron. Hank is known for playing for the Braves and being second on the home run record list with 755 home runs. After his retirement, Aaron held front office roles with the Atlanta Braves, including senior vice president. In 1988, Aaron was inducted to the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame. Some more recent players that the integration of baseball allowed to play are Derek Jeter, who played for the Yankees and was one of the greatest shortstops to ever step on a baseball field, and Ronald Acuna Jr., who is a great outfielder for the Atlanta Braves and is one of my favorite players. He is still young, and I hope he will continue to put up great stats for the Braves. Jackie Robinson and Branch Rickey used their determination to end segregation and grit to change the way we look at baseball and play a big role in the civil rights movement through the integration of baseball. Baseball has come so far, and it would be hard to imagine it without all of the great players the integration of baseball allowed to play.